And I don't want to see Australians constantly, it'll happen again and the economy, by the way, will recover. The American economy is not going to die. Want me to wrap up half past? Yeah, okay. How am I boring you to tears yet? No. God for that. Okay. Well, I always know, look, I know when I start falling asleep, it's time to depart, it's the right day. Well, this stuff's out of America. We need to take some of these thoughts into your community, challenge what you think is the obvious. Now, isn't the rule of manufacturing around the world at the moment, the rule of manufacturing is we quit, we give up making stuff as Americans or Australians or English, we quit, give up and we do it in China, right? Okay, look at this one. Would you believe over the last 2 years, Chinese firms have invested now $5 billion American dollars in US manufacturing? Huh? Okay, I'll give you a quote. This is the people that we've actually bought shares in, these people with my professional hat on, with the 13 odd billion that I look after. Yang Chen plate making. What do Yang Chen plate making do? No, they don't make China plates. Yang Chen plate making, they make the moulds and the plates that actually stamp all the labels on Coca-Cola bottles and wine bottles, and you know, every time you see a label, Chun Keng's behind about 20% of them. Now, they've recently spent $1 billion in their new manufacturing facility. And where did a Chinese company build a manufacturing facility? A Chinese company based in China. They looked around the world and said China's too damn expensive, so they built theirs in South Carolina in America. Huh? Isn't that breaking all the myths? And the reason they did that, by the way, do you think anyone think the Chinese are silly? Give me a break. Smart people. I admire the Chinese. The company purchased the land in South Carolina for 25% of the price of land in China. And that's open market, that's not government subsidised. They purchased it for a quarter of the price. China's booming, remember. Electricity, they are paying 4 cents per kilowatt hour compared to 14 cents in China. Cheaper for the Chinese to manufacture their plate making capacity in South Carolina than in China. Happening enormously. This idea, double-dip recessions, it's the end of the world for America and so on. America is tough. This is a community conversation. Now, sorry if I use the male example. We are purse-carrying Nancy boys compared to your typical American male or female. My mate I mentioned, Dallas and Accor, he recently did get caught up on redundancy. One of the reasons I'm going to duck in and see, make sure he's okay. His wife's got ovarian cancer too, all in the same year. So Cole's doing it pretty tough. He rang, I said, how'd you go with your redundancy payment? And I thought, 15 years. In Australia, I'd be thinking 15 years with a company, 2 to 3 weeks a year. I'd probably get, maybe 9 months redundancy pay. And he said, oh, I'm ecstatic, Paul. He said, I got the full 2 weeks without having to go to court. And I said, what? And he said, oh, no, normally with only 15 years, they'd fight me down to a week. But no, they paid me the 2 weeks redundancy. Now, you're going, that's dreadful. But guess what it does? Is that for me, if I got made redundant with my 9 months' pay, what do you think a good Australian would do with a 9-month redundancy check? Go to north of Oga, sit on the beach. What do you think my mate's doing? Hustling to make a quid. Hustling to make a quid. And he started hustling the day he got his redundancy. And he's got himself something now in a completely different industry, in a different city. Guess what he's doing? He and the family are off. And I said, how's your wife? She had ovarian cancer. I said, how's she feel? She's in remission. And she's got 2 teenagers. How do they feel about this? And he went, it's how we eat. We're like, you can sit on your bum in Avoca for 9 months while you ponder your future. Americans are hard bastards. And now this is community. I'm not saying this is the model for us, okay? But the culture they live in is much tougher than ours. We are pretty bloody soft, all right? We expect to be looked after by council, by government, by someone or another to look after us. And it's not a good Australian attitude, by the way. It's not helping us. It's not that we can't have everything we want. At times we've got to go, damn it, Clitheroe's going to keep coming here. Oh, bugger it, I'll put up with it. Okay? Or, look, build an expensive cafe and rip me off. I mean, do something. But that'd be the American response. It's all very good and well. So basically in America, what we're seeing is, you're hearing about the Detroit stories, if you're making a Hummer that, needs 10 gallons per mile to move, therefore America is dead. What a load of crap. So America is not dying, it's reinventing. And America reinvents fast because there is not a safety net. You've got to hustle. And you hustle into different industries, you re-educate, you change. My mate, by the way, has gone into a lithium battery producer. What's he know about lithium batteries? He used to develop hotels. Absolutely bugger all, but he told him you'll find out. and they were quite happy with that. They wanted a sales guy. So some of the companies we own shares in, I'll only name companies in America that are brand new, but are the size of a top 20 Australian company. First Solar of Arizona, didn't exist 4 years ago. First Solar of Arizona, it makes thin film solar modules. It's got the lowest manufacturing cost per watt in the solar energy industry. It believes, and we think they're right, within 4 years they'll achieve price parity in power generation from solar to coal-fired, which by the way is around about 53 to 63 cents per watt. How many people are they employing? They're already employing nearly 6,000 people. Didn't exist 4 years ago. This is Americans reinventing. And did they probably kill a few bell-tree green-spotted frogs building their plant? They probably did. The Americans have had a conversation saying, take a photo, stick it on the wall. I'm not saying it's right. Different communities are entitled to different conversations. Would everyone in the American community agree? Of course they would not agree. Not saying it's right or wrong. Johnson Controls, market cap 22 billion. That makes them about a top 12 or 13 Australian company. They make lithium batteries, again, for hybrid electric vehicles. 3 other companies we've got shares in, Japoi, Johnson and Zimmer. That's not the Johnson you know. Stryker and Zimmer, they didn't exist 10 years ago. What do they make? Artificial joints. Anyone here giving them some money? I'd say absolutely yes. Because the way my knees feel after that damn Lord Howe race, I'll be joining you shortly, believe me. So basically, what I'm arguing is, yes, look, we can do this thing about, you know, oh, the world, double dip recession, the pig. Don't you like the pigs? Portugal, Ireland, Greece and Spain, that's a bit sad, isn't it? And because they're going to get worse in Ireland, which I agree with, it's going to be the end of the world as we know it. So at the moment, don't forget, the media, by the way, and every time I get asked to do a story, I'm doing Kerry Ann tomorrow morning at 9:10. Am I having a community chat? No, I'm not. Why am I doing it? Kerry Ann wants to ask me about the ANZ Bank increasing interest rates by 0.39%. It's a chance for it's a headline, right? The media want headline. What the media wants is the media wants the world to collapse or the world to boom. Have you ever seen on Channel 9's Current Affair a businessman who says, well, yes, you know, things are pretty good. Great promo line, wouldn't it? Tonight on Current Affair, businessman says things are pretty good. As you rush to Today Tonight to watch the latest pumpkin soup diet or some other crap. Now, what they want is, they want businessman fails, shoots wife, runs over children, kills dog. Do you think I'm kidding? What do you think's going to get the headline? So basically, don't forget, we've never had this before in 7,000 years of Great Depressions and economic failure. Round about 3 per century this happens. We get 3 major downturns per 100 years. Why? Why does the tide... Oh, sorry, I know what a tide comes in, that's the moon. Why do we get round about 3 a century? Blowed if I know. When do they happen? I never know. The only indicator I have is we tend to be overly optimistic. So for example, easy tip for you. Get the newspapers, put a tick beside every positive money comment. 2 years ago, we did not predict a downturn to happen, but we couldn't believe it. The media was nearly 100% positive on every financial issue. What's the media been the last 18 months? Nearly 100% negative on financial issue. We'll always have the media, will never lead, it will follow community sentiment, and our sentiment's usually wrong. America double-dipped depression, America's not collapsing, it's reinventing, they're hard bastards. And in my opinion, they will reinvent. Are they important? Please don't forget, last year, American economic output, if we take China and India added together, China and India's gross domestic product, their economic output last year was 40% of America's output last year. That's why we do fret about America appropriately. I hate unemployment in America at 9.6%, mainly because most of those people have got no unemployment benefits. It's hard. It's a hard place. Is that right or wrong? It's a community conversation. I'm not commenting on right or wrong. All I know is they won't be sitting on their bums in many cases. So I believe you'll see significant reinvention in the States, and I think America's going to, it'll be tough, but I think America will do just fine. China's a great story. The stuff the media doesn't want to know about at the moment, they want to know about strikes in France. They don't want to know about how well Germany's going. The media won't mention how well Brazil and Argentina's going. They'll barely mention how well Southeast Asia bar Japan's going. Any time in world history, there are some bad stories and there are some good stories. At the moment, we're relentless on the bad story. And that emotion's actually quite important. So I try and be personally balancing. If it's in the paper, don't trust it. It's not bad advice. But it's not the paper's fault. Now, they're under pressure to sell stuff, and headlines are great. We really do like a thunderstorm washes Paul's house into Avoca Beach. Mate, seriously, newspapers would love it. So basically, at the moment, things are, I think, more emotionally negative than logically negative. The world, basically, the truth is that the economy, boom or bust, the simple truth is, based on 7,000 years, is the economy is likely to struggle along. We will live longer. We will be healthier. This community needs to think about what that means. I think for you to destroy this wonderful lifestyle would be a dreadful shame. You know, to become the, and I think that's already locked in, isn't it? You're not going to become the Gold Coast, and you're not going to build 50-storey high-rises at Avoca, are you? Good, excellent, good. But you see, but some people in the room might say, well, get rid of that bloody Clitheroe bastard and give real people a go. It's fine, I understand that stuff. But basically, I think having a vision is a plan. I don't much care whether your vision or plan is terribly right or terribly wrong. If you have a vision and a plan, at least it means you've thought about it. Some of you will disagree with it. Obviously, my vision for this place is I would love to see your waterfront come alive. I believe in economies of being people magnets. I think if you do people magnet stuff, you will get better, and better's, sorry, ludicrous thing to say. I'm now talking with my economist hat on. You know, you'll get, if you want a head office here, do you build them a pretty bit of floor space by redeveloping your city centre, or do you build a magnificent waterfront and they come and go, God, this is a great place. How do we come here with our head office? Let's build a new damn office block. That's simple stuff. So I'm personally a people magnet person. Maybe you don't want to be a people magnet, but I tell you what, you can't stand still, because you are going to grow by, you know, 100 and something thousand, 100 and whatever it is, 120,000 over how long next? 25 odd years? Okay, so you are going to grow. I think the country town thing is not going to be that great, but what are the benefits to you in that? I think there's opportunities around healthcare. I think there's significant opportunities around arts and culture. Certainly I'll be excited about seeing what little bits that myself and my family can do around that area. That we think that's exciting stuff. I do think you've got just the physical beauty of this place is just extraordinary, isn't it? You know, it's just really, it's a wonderful place. I'd like to see you become a people magnet, because I think everything else will unfold from being a people magnet, but that's up to you to decide, not me, okay? Personally, I'd rather no one knew about it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I should shut up, but thank you very much. Thank you.
So what now? Over the next hour, I encourage you to go and grab a cup of coffee or tea and something to eat, and then move through the 6 conversation hubs to comment on the draft objectives. You can join a conversation, chat with others, or post your comments on the wall. We are really interested in knowing what you believe are the possible solutions to achieve these objectives. Event staff are stationed at the hubs to assist with this activity. They can also answer any questions you have about this evening's forum and the community strategic planning process. We are inviting community involvement in this planning process until the 3rd of December, after which time a draft community strategic plan will be prepared. If you are unable to make comments this evening or wish to further consider the issues, you can participate in the forum on our website by going to the same website, gosford2025.com. Or use a reply paid envelope in your registration pack. So you should all have got a little show bag, and there's some information in there. It includes an introduction to the community forums, frequently asked questions, conversation guidelines, as well as the list of draft objectives. And like I said, there is also a reply paid envelope, so you could make comments tonight and then make further comments when you get home, and then pop that in the post to us. Topic papers on a range of important local issues are also available in the foyer area. I would like to thank you for coming tonight, and I encourage you to stay around to have your say at the conversation hubs. And finally, I'd like to say thank you once again to Paul Clitheroe and to Kelly Duncan. Thank you and good night.